Looking for a way to get healthy? The Chef You and I program has the answer. Kathryn, Raaker, and chefs from around the nation will teach even the most inexperienced how to cook. Come into their kitchen and watch them take ordinary foods with loads of calories and fat and turn those foods into healthier dishes. You will be the first to get tips and ideas on foods that are easy to prepare. Now let's join Kathryn and today's chef and learn how to make today's recipes.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of The Chef You and I. Well, happy Halloween. And you can see I have that witch's hat, and we have this wonderful pumpkin guy right here. And this show is devoted to children and their parents and grandparents and loved ones that love Halloween. The first thing that we're going to make on our Halloween show is Halloween spider bread dip bowl. And it's going to look like a spider. And so we have to take off my hat now so that I can actually make all the things that we're going to make tonight. So we're going to put this over here. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do with the Halloween spider bread is we're going to give you the ingredients because it's really important that you have them all. And now the ingredients for our Halloween spider bread dip bowl. I have actually 3 rolls here, okay? And I want to take and put all together 10 rolls together to make the body of the spider. And then we need 2 rolls actually to make the spider's head. So there's a roll, and they've been in my refrigerator and rising overnight. So what I'm doing, and I found out that this is an easier way to do it, is to roll it so you can't see the distinction of the 2 balls. So I've got this wonderful little roller here that I'm using, and I'm going to roll it out and then form a ball and then put it on the sheet. It's going to become the head of the spider. So, anyhow, but it takes time to do this, so you want to roll it into a ball like that. And so that's the ball for the head. Okay, we're going to put that right here. All right, make it. All right, that's that. Now, there's 3 here. So we need to add 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we need 4 to make like the legs of the spider, which are 12 inches altogether, right? Pretty big body, right? And it's going to rise even more. So we're going to put this on a sheet, right, that actually has already spray. And we use our duck fat spray on that. So there's the body. Now what we need is we need to get these into 12-inch length, and it'll do that. We have to stretch it out. And they'll sit on there too, because when we put it together, you'll see how we do the legs. That's 1. All right. I want to stick it there, okay? Now I need another one. And we want to make this into the same thing that we did with that other one. And they may not be as perfect as those first 2, right? But we'll roll that out. Okay. Probably have too much dough there. Hold on. So, this is really going to, you can do this with your children or your grandchildren. It's going to be fun to do. Okay, and I'll just cut this off a little bit. to make the legs. All right. Actually, I can do that. All right. And we need this. Got more dough right here. And like I said, these are yeast rolls, frozen yeast rolls that we're using, right? And I'm just rolling them out. And then just stretch them as far as you can. And then you can cut them. Right. Remember, they're legs, so they're going to go around that body shape, right? And I have to wear gloves right now because, you know, I don't know, I was doing some crafting things and burned my little finger. Not my finger, my middle finger. But that's why we have the gloves on, because we can't get them wet. All right, so I'm stretching that out. And these turned out perfect, and the other ones, oh well. Right. Okay, so now I've got, here's the head of the body. And the head is going to go right here. So the head will go here, right? I think I'll move this back a little. There we go. That looks good. Now, we're going to take the little legs and we're going to put them from the back to the front. Okay, so you want to put them like right here, and then they come out here like that. And they kind of curve around from there. So here's the next one. Now we have it all formed, and we're going to have the camera take a look at it. And then we're going to use the egg wash and water all over the whole spider. Right? And this is my first attempt at this spider, so it may not look like a lot of other people's, but it's my spider. What can I say? And I think your family and friends are going to love this. And you actually make the center of this, you're going to cut this out. So, and then I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese on top of the spider's legs, right? Okay, so we've just put all of the Parmesan cheese on our legs, right? And then you want to clean up that because you don't want it to stick onto the thing, because you have to take this off and put it onto another nice dish. Okay, so let's do this. Going to have to pull it over again, right? And then we're going to put this in the oven now because we've let it rise quite a bit, actually. So we're going to put it in the oven now, and 350 degrees for about 28 minutes. We'll be right back on the Chef You and I with our Halloween show. We're back on the Chef You and I, and these are baby bells. So they're not the big ones, they're the small ones. They're baby bells. And what you want to do is you want to take your pretzel, your stick pretzel, and go like this and push it in like that and turn it maybe a little, right? And then you're going to put 4 on the sides. What are you making? I am making spider bites, and they're made out of baby bell cheese, chocolate chips, tiny ones, and pretzels. So that's 3, and then we need 4. There's 4. Okay? Now we're going to turn this around and do it over on the other side. And you can have your kids help you do this, which would be kind of cool, or grandchildren, because they like to make really weird and wonderful things, right? So this is a very inexpensive little project. There we go, right? Now, we can take it and turn it upside down like that, right? And put it there. And we want to put our chocolate chips, which are mini chocolate chips, right on here. One. And then take another one. And you put the flat part, or the pointed part goes right into the cheese. Right, there's that one, okay? Or you could move that. That looks fine. So then you make the next one. They don't have to be perfect. Remember that. They are spiders, and spiders are not absolutely perfect. They're in all sorts of sizes and stuff like that. So you want to peel this off. Kids are going to love this, actually. Anything that looks gross or, that they like, especially at Halloween. We used to have 200 or 300 kids come to our house every year, but it's gotten smaller every year, and I don't know why, because kids are growing up, right? We've seen a lot of children in our neighborhood grow up, and they all love doing this kind of stuff. So that's the second one. Third one. And our spider that's in the oven is getting bigger and bigger. We don't know how big it's going to get, actually. It's going to be funny. So we're also making a Frankenstein head. Okay, and then we're going to turn this one around again. And then go like this. Over here. And here. And one more. Okay, so now we have our other spider, right? And we're going to do this. Now we're going to do it like that. And we're going to put the chocolate chips on. Boy, these things are tiny. There we go. And then put one more. Whoops. There you go. So, there's our spider. Our wonderful spiders. And your kids can eat everything that's on there, or your grandchildren. This one just didn't want to go down. Hold on. There we go. Just push it in there, and they're fine. So there's our spiders. So we're going to look at our bread for a minute, our wonderful spider bowl. And I'm just going to look at it to see how it's going and see how much time we have. 16:10, it looks like. Wow, that's a big spider. Woo! I didn't realize how much it would rise in the oven. We'll be right back after these important messages on The Chef, You and I. The next Halloween wonderful dish we're going to have is deviled ham and eyeball sandwiches. And you're going to take, and I'm using like a sourdough bread on these to make the circles that you're going to see for the eyeballs. And we've got 8 ounces of ham. It's cooked ham. We're going to put it in the food processor. And what we're going to do is we're going to grind up the actual ham. And then we're going to make a ham salad that has some really different ingredients in it. Like, for instance, 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of pickle relish. We're not putting Worcestershire sauce in this. We're going to do a little bit of salt, and then 10 pimento stuffed green olives sliced in half, which we have right there. And then we need ketchup for squirting to make the eyeballs look like they're bloodshot. So here we go. We did this a few years ago, and I'm just repeating this one because I thought it was so cute. And, this is something you can do with your grandchildren or your children if you have little kids. But kids love scary things to eat. Don't ask me why. So anyhow, we're going to put this into the food processor. Take my other glove and put it on. We're going to grind it up for like ham salad. That's what we're making, right? So we're going to use this trusty little thing right here and put the ham in. Oops, dropped it. Not a problem. Clean counter we have. And we use all of this ham. Because then once we make this, we're going to roll them to make eyeballs. Okay? So there's that. So I'm going to put this on top of here, and I'm going to grind it up. Whoops. Hold on. All right. Yeah, almost is there. All right, so we have it now. So we're going to get a little bowl, if we can, right over here. And we're going to add into this bowl the ham. And then add all of our other ingredients. Okay? This is one of our 360 pans I love, by the way. That turned out really nice. That's what you want it to look like. And I'm going to show the camera this. That's what you want it to be ground like. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. And I'm going to add all the ingredients and smooth it into each other, right? And add the ham, mayonnaise, honey, mustard, relish in a bowl. And we're doing it like this. We already did everything. We don't need to process it into the food processor. You can do that if you want to. But I used a small food processor. So just add the mayonnaise, your honey. I've never done honey with this before. This is new. At least for me it is. And then you add the mustard. That's Dijon mustard. And your relish. And that's it, I think. Just add it all together. It's going to have a really nice taste to it, right? And I think the honey makes everything stick together, you would think, right? We'll find out in a minute when we try to roll it. And we'll do a good job of rolling it in a minute. So we need to cut out some more of the bread that we're going to put it on. We'll just let this sit for a few minutes. Okay. So that's what it looks like in the end. And we're going to cut these out. So, and I saved all of the bread actually for, guess what? The birds. I always save, and you know, sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes deer like it. So we'll save these. And that's what it looks like when it's done. We need a couple more. Let's see, here we go. And kids have a lot of fun doing this, right? Pressing it down and then just taking the sides. See how easy that is? Pretty simple. Right. So we have that. And then we have some more. We want to put this out for you to see. And we'll put it on a plate because you can eat it right away. So, and they're going to love it. Wait a minute, take my gloves off, and I'll be able to open it up. Funny, but... All right, here we go. So, this is a heartier bread. You can get a sourdough bread like this. This is our artesian bread. And here we go. And I'll just do that. And our birds love this. Believe me, they love getting bread. I'll just move that one over there, like that. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, one more. See how simple that was? If you want to use a lighter bread, you can, but it just makes it easier to do that with this kind of heavier bread. It makes more like a sandwich or an eyeball. Okay, so then what we do is we're going to move all this stuff out of the way. And then we will make the balls Now that we've done that, right, I'll clean this off, the board off. And we'll take this and we'll, for the spider eyes, right? Because you want to make it really realistic looking, right? Here we go. Now we're back and we're putting a rolled ball right there in the center of the bread round. And what you need to do is to take your ham salad. Don't make real big balls because the eyes are not that big. Okay? Even that's a little much. Okay, here we go. All right, this is the next one, right? And I think that one's even too big. I may just do this one over again, which is easy to do, by the way. Okay, put that right there, because you're going to put the olive in the center of that. And the rest of this wonderful, wonderful ham salad, right? The recipe will be up on our website, right? And you'll be able to do it. All right, there we go. There's another one. You can put it down. Wait a minute. Give it over again. All right, that's good. All right, and then we're going to put the olive in the center in just a minute. And then we're going to take our ketchup and we're going to make veins out of it. And then we can have this ham salad for lunch tomorrow, right? And the kids can have these. So on Halloween, you could do something special. If the kids aren't going out, if it's raining or they have a party or something, you could make these for a party, okay? I know I have to talk a little bit more. Usually I have somebody with me, but tonight I don't. I'm by myself, so I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing here. And we did this a few years ago with he was 4 years old. And he said, "Can I take everything home?" And we said, "Yeah, you can take everything home." And he was just so cute. So this year I decided to do it by myself. So anyhow, we are going to be right back, and I'm going to finish the eyeballs in just a second. Now we're putting the olive in the center of the eyeball is going in right there. And then we're going to, that's why you want to get pimento. You could do black olives, but they don't have pimento. There you go. So these are little sandwiches for, like you could use them for canapes. You could do all kinds of different things with them. But we're doing them like this. And then I'm going to put the ketchup on it. And the ketchup makes the veins of the eye. Whoops. Make that a little. Okay. Put that in there. Put that in here. This here. And now the trick is to get the ketchup so it doesn't go all over the place. All right?
You need one more?
Oh, yeah. I got one more. Hold on. Doesn't want to go in there, but it will. I'll fix it. There you go. All right. Now we finished our deviled ham and eyeball sandwiches. We're going to take some pictures, and I think the kids are just going to love them. Okay? Real simple to make. 20 slices of white bread, 2 cups of cooked ham chopped, about 8 ounces, a third cup of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of pickle relish, 3, we're not using hot sauce on it because kids may not like the hot sauce, and 10 pimento stuffed green olives. And use the whole olive if you're going to use just small olives. So that's what it looks like. All right? We'll be right back to make our Frankenstein head. We're letting our wonderful spider that we're going to make for adults cool off. And then we'll make the rest of our things. We'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I, and now we're making the Frankenstein pasta. And we used about 6-quart pan. This is our 360 pan, and we did rotoni. And we're going to make this green. So in order to make it green, we use the following ingredients. A cup of basil, fresh. 1/3 ounces of pine nuts, dried. 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, grated. A dash of salt, and I'm not going to use salt in this because I'm going to use olive oil, a 1/3 cup of olive oil, and we have 16 ounces of pasta shell, not shells, but the rotoni, and 3 medium cucumbers that we're going to chop up, 4 ounces of mozzarella cheese, and 1 cup of black olives, which are going to be the hair. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take and grind up the pesto sauce. And these are the fresh basil leaves. And we're going to add our oil. We're going to add our pine nuts. We're going to add our pine nuts and Parmesan. Okay. They're going to mix all that up, grind that all up, and that actually becomes the pesto sauce. I got it now. Okay, we're ready. And it's plugged in. So we're going to power it on, and we're going to crush. And it looks pretty good for me. Let's look and see. It looks pretty good. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to add this into the pasta. So I'm going to do it like this. Right here. Why not do it right in the pan? It makes it easy, right? And we need a spoon to mix it with, or a spatula, one or the other. And we're going to add this into our pasta. And you can see that it's pretty well ground up, and it's going to turn it green. And this is going to be the Frankenstein head, right? It's really delicious, actually, when you get it all done. And all of our recipes are up on the chefuandI.com under recipes. And you can see this on everything from Hulu to Roku to Spectrum to lots of different cable stations. And this is what it's starting to do. I think I may even make some more of this so you can see it. And, all right, I think I need a little bit more oil. And then we have to add our cucumbers in here, which I'll do in a minute. And this looks pretty good, actually. All right. So you can see that it makes into, so you can see this. I want to show you this. Hold on. I want to show you this. So it looks green, right? So we're going to put this over here. And I'm going to move this aside. Oops. I'm going to move this aside. And then I'm going to cut up my cucumbers, right? And I'm going to put the cucumbers into the pasta. So I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to do this here, but I'm going to cut these up first. I'll move all this out of the way. So what we're doing is we're cutting up our cucumbers, and I've used, they're like pickled cucumbers, okay? And I used 6 or 7 of them, right? And it's really a good dish. And it's a healthy one for your kids that love pasta. And I don't know a child that doesn't like pasta, right? But it's a good way for them to eat their vegetables, wouldn't you say? You could probably even use broccoli. I could, grind up some broccoli and put it in there too. Or, whatever. So wait till you see. This is going to be really pretty when we finish with it. Okay. So just chop all those up, and then they go into the pasta. Okay. I think I need a little bit of more oil if the producer doesn't mind. Okay. So let's do this. Move this out of the way. And we're going to add these in to it. Right. All right, we'll move this over out of the way for a second. And we're going to bring this over. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pasta and I'm going to put it on the plate and I'm going to make a head. And then we're going to put his hair at the top. All right. You make it into a square. Make it into a square, and then you're going to put 2 eyes on it, which are going to be the mozzarella cheese that we're putting together here in a minute. Right? So this is going to go on the top. This is the hair. Here's the hair at the top. Like 2 rows of hair. Mm-hmm. And I have to take that little noodle out of there so I can get my olive in there. And 2 rows of olives. There we go. And then we're going to cut circles. We're going to cut circles out of the mozzarella cheese. He's got curly hair, what can I tell you? Kids really love this Frankenstein head. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the actual mozzarella cheese circles, right? But I need this to do that. So we're going to leave this out here for a minute. And I'm going to bring this in. And I need 2 circles. Actually cut the mozzarella cheese in half, and then we use a bread cutter that I did for the others. Now we're going to make the eyes right here. So there's the eyes, right? And we're going to make the mouth, because those are also, guess what? Olives. So you need plenty of black olives for this little deal. And one right here. He's smiling. Then I have to cut the cucumber that I'm going to use for the arms. Or no, for his like nuts and bolts that he has. Okay. There we go. And I have to add a little bit more pasta in here to cover that up. Right. Right. And a little pasta here to cover that up. So there you have it. Here is his beautiful thing. I'm going to turn it around. Hold on a minute. And you want to clean your plate off to make it look really good. I tell people that when especially if you're taking pictures, right, for the camera, you want it to be neat looking. Right? Oh, wow. I just moved him. Okay, so that's his hair. All right. So now you have the Frankenstein face, right? And if you want to make a beard on him, you could, but I don't think Frankenstein has a beard. So I'm going to add a few more olives, like I said, for the hair. And we're done with that. Then what we need to do is make the ice cream cones, witches' hats. What do you think about that? Now we're done with that. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back on The Chef You and I. right, we're back on the Chef You and I, and we're making a pumpkin cheese ball. The ingredients are 16 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, 3 tablespoons of minced onion, 2 tablespoons of salsa, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, and if you want to put a jalapeno pepper, 1 teaspoon of a minced jalapeno, you can. But for little kids, that's not a good idea. And then 1 green pepper bell stem to go on the top. Okay? We're ready now, so we're going to go ahead. So the cream cheese is at a good temperature. And so what I'm going to do in a second is add all the other ingredients to it. Okay, here we go. We're going to stop that for a minute. We're going to add the cheese. Okay. And we're going to add all of the other ingredients. And we're going to mix it all together. And it will become our cheese ball. So here we go. And you can see how nice it is. And we're using that 360 pan. Look at how easy this is. All right, I think we're done with it. I think I've put as much in there as I can, and we'll just let it go. Hold on. There we go. And then I'm going to take these out. And I'm going to put these in a little there, right there. And then I'm going to use one of these spatulas. And I'm going to put this together. And I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to make the ball, because I'm going to actually take it and put this in the center, right, and make the cheese ball. This is going to make a really nice cheese ball, and then we're going to have black tortilla chips for the cheese ball. So it's orange, right, with all the cheese and everything in it. And this recipe will also be on our website, but I've got to put all of it together, and then we'll make the ball right here. Okay, so we should have enough there. So what we'll do is we're going to take this right here, come over this way, and this, like that, and then bring this over, and then we're going to form the cheese ball. And then we're going to put it in the center over there, and I'm going to take it over here. It's already almost done. I'm going to put it in the center here so that I can actually, and I'm going to get my hand a little dirty, but that's all right. We're going to take that, and we're going to take it off of there, and we're going to form it, like I said, into a cheese ball. Put it in the center right here. Right? Easy does it. And then we're going to put the black chips around it. Okay, let me take just a second to rinse off my hands. Then we're going to take this and throw this away. We don't need this anymore unless we want to clean this up a little, which we can. And we're going to take and put in the center of the cheese ball. There we're going to go. And then we're going to put the wonderful chips. And I'm going to put these over here, and you'll see what I'm going to do. It's really cool. And then you can serve this as an appetizer or a snack. For the adults, if you're having your children's friends over for Halloween, for a Halloween party, that's pretty cool. So hold on. You have to get them all the way around, right? And I know it's going to be delicious. You're going to have a lot of fun with it, and it's going to be a really happy Halloween. I hope that you will enjoy your Halloween, and as much as we had fun doing this today, we got one more thing to do on the Chef You and I, and this recipe will be up on it as well, and I'm going to put it out here so you can see it. All right, and just make that a little bit right there. Okay. Smooth it out. All right, so we've got that. So that's a pretty cool thing. was easy to do and simple for you to make. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back on the Chef You and I, and we're going to make our Oreo cookie snack treat. They're actually witches' hats. We'll be right back. We're back, and I want to show you what we did with the Vizels. You just take a can of this wonderful color spray, black, which is edible, and you just spray just like that all over. But you want to take it outside and do it. So that's an easy way to see it done, okay? And then put the top back on. But I did it outside. Now, here are my Vizels, and they're done. And you want them to get dry because they get a little bit damp. We have these wonderful Oreo chocolate cones that we're using. And I found them in my grocery store. And if you look them up online, you'll find them easily. And then you can order them. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to take a little bit of white icing or orange icing or whatever icing you want and put this so that they'll stick together to the pizzelles, because you have to get them to stick. And this is the way you do it. It's just like glue, but it's icing, right? And I'm doing that, right? Get it like that. And then what we do is we take the pizzelle. Oh, I forgot. I have to put the candy in. You have to put the candy in, the M&Ms or whatever you are for the kids, because this is a treat for the kids. So I'm using M&Ms, all right? But you can use Reese cups or whatever you want to use, okay? So I'm going to use a different one. I'm going to use this one because I'll make that into something else. And then you put this on the top of it like that. And we're going to turn it over. And then I'm going to use the icing. Okay, you're going to go around the cone. And just turn it while you're doing it. And then we'll make some florets or something all around there. All right. Right there. Right here. Right here. There. Okay. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to put it over here with the other one, and we'll do one more. I've already done this one, so we'll just do this part of it, okay? And you're just piping it along here. And then make a floret here. And then just keep going. And when you're done with it, you have a witch's hat. Okay, we're just about done with it. Right. Right, and then put one right here. One here. Okay, and then we're going to put this on like this. And you have the witch's hats for the kids. And they have the snacks inside of them. Pretty simple to do. And we'll be right back after this message, and we're going to show you everything that we made. We'll be right back. We're back on the Chef You and I, and we're at the end of our show. I hope you enjoyed having fun with us on our Halloween show for not only moms and dads, but kids as well. So remember, we did the wonderful, this is our spider that is actually has wonderful vegetables with it that you can dip with an onion and sour cream dip. We have our eyes, and those are actually wonderful ham salad, and then the olives, the ketchup, the brown circle bread. We have our spider with cheese, and then we have our cheese dip, and then our ice cream cones filled with chocolates. M&Ms, and on Pizzellas. And don't forget the Frankenstein, which I loved making. I want to thank you all for joining me, and thank you for our wonderful guests that have helped us tonight. And we'll have all the recipes up on the Chef You and I want to thank everyone, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Have a happy Halloween.
Thanks for joining us on the Chef You and I show today. We'll be back next week with another great and healthy recipe. Don't forget to visit our website, thechefyouandi.com, for all of our featured recipes, cooking tips, and clips of the show.